You are listening to South Florida Sunday. We thank you for being with us. Our next guest is Carrie Morrison, who is here to tell us about Live Like Jake. Carrie, welcome to South Florida Sunday.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Now, we've talked with folks from Live Like Jake in the past, but for folks who may have missed that conversation, could you give us the inspiration and a little backstory on Live Like Jake?
Sure. So November 30th, 2013, we lost our son Jake to a drowning accident while we were visiting family members for Thanksgiving. And, it just shattered our lives, our hearts, and our daughter was 3 months at the time, and we enrolled her in self-rescue swim lessons when she was 8 months old. And just seeing her, being able to save her life really kind of fast-forwarded us and jump-started Live Like Jake so we could create the foundation and provide scholarships for self-rescue swim lessons for families that can't afford them. Fast forward today, and we have provided over 2,700 scholarships for ISR lessons.
Wow. So now that, I think back in my day, this was called drown proofing. Is that pretty much the same? It's not really. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it gets confused with swimming lessons. It's really not that, right?
Sure. We do not use that word because there really is no such thing as drown proofing, because even a child that learns to self-rescue is still at risk to drown. We're definitely not drown proofing them. Mm-hmm. We're just adding an extra layer of protection to prevent the drowning. So it's a self-rescue lesson, that really the difference, because Jake had traditional swim lessons and he really didn't learn anything in the 5 weeks of lessons. Mm-hmm. And even had he learned to, it wouldn't have saved him. He fell into the intercoastal. He was fully clothed, including a diaper and shoes and pants. And, learning to just swim to an edge or, get out of a pool using steps is not going to help your child when they fall into the intercoastal like Jake, or a pond or lake, or even if they're just, 10 months old and they fall into a pool, they're not old enough to swim to an edge. So this program really focuses on rescue. So the child can, save themselves if they fall into a body of water.
And where do young people at that age, where do they take these lessons?
Actually, the program that we promote and support is called Infant Swimming Resource. It is a global program. Mm-hmm. They can go to infantswim.com to see if there's an instructor in their area. We actually provide scholarships, all over the nation, wherever there's an instructor. And we actually just recently opened an indoor swimming pool in Palm Beach Gardens. Mm-hmm. that ISR lessons can now take place year-round here in our community.
Wow, that is awesome. But the scholarships and this indoor pool, it all sounds very expensive. I'm sure funding is always a big part of each and every day of Live Like Jake. If folks are listening and they'd like to be able to support your efforts, how could they do that?
We actually have several events throughout the year that we do on an annual basis. One's actually going on right now. It's called Watermelons for Water Safety, and it's where kids or businesses set up any type of watermelon stand, watermelon slices, candy, juice, and the proceeds go to Live Like Jake. So they can raise money and awareness for drowning prevention, which is, much needed. And that's something we do annually. We just wrapped up our annual 5K. That's always in May. And we have a poker tournament coming up September 12th at the Palm Beach Kennel Club at noon. We're excited to have another in-person event. And our gala is in the fall of every year, and this year it is October 9th. And all of these events are on our website, livelikejake.com, under the events tab.
So this is a great way for folks who are listening to us to be able to support the great work you're doing and have a good time at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. And raise awareness, because, what we do is equally about awareness, educating families that drowning is preventable, but it can happen to anybody. It does not matter the color of your skin, how much money you make. It just does not matter. It can happen to any child. Where there's water, they can drown. And, it's equally about the layers of protection where, adult supervision, doors and windows locked and alarmed at all times, pool fences. If you have a pool and you have a young child or grandchild, there is no, ifs, ands, or buts. They have to have a pool fence. It's the only physical barrier that can keep the child from entering the water. And then quality self-rescue swim lessons, and finally CPR. You never know when you might need it. That's, so we're always, practicing and preaching these layers of protection. If they're all in place, the drowning is completely preventable.
And you mentioned pool barriers. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that a law in the state of Florida that if you have a swimming pool, there has to be some type of barrier?
It is, but they have kind of relaxed on that over the years. It doesn't have to be a pool fence anymore. It can be like a pool alarm, but those are easily removed.
Right.
Or it could just be alarms on the doors and the windows, again, can easily be disarmed. So they definitely have eased up on that, which, obviously we do not like in this industry.
Right.
The more layers, the better. But and if you were grandfathered in a pool when that law was put in place, you did not have to go put in a barrier. So it's just, I have people tell me all the time, can you convince my spouse, to put up a fence? They don't like the way they look. And, to me, as a parent that has suffered a loss, I can be pretty blunt and say, well, your child in a coffin is much uglier. Exactly. And it's blunt, but it's the truth. It really is a necessity. If you have a pool, young child, grandchild, you have to fence it, regardless of whether your child knows how to swim. It's still a very, very important layer of protection.
And I know you said that you provide scholarships around the country, but here in South Florida, water safety is very important because, number one, we are completely surrounded by water. Everywhere you look, there's a canal or a pond or a beach or a pool or something. And we have beautiful weather year-round. So drowning deaths are a big problem in the state of Florida, more so than the rest of the country.
This year already in Florida, we have had 45 children lose their life to a drowning. Wow. And we are just getting into the summer months. We're way above the average, I guess you could say, for drowning deaths. So it's just super important. If you're listening, don't think that it can't happen to you. It happens to really, really good parents all the time. So easy to happen.
Right, and so very important for our young folks. Folks are listening to us this morning. They can go to your website and find out more tips on pool safety and water safety?
Absolutely, yes, at livelikejake.com.
And that's where they can go if they want to support your events by attending, getting all the details of the dates and the times and that sort of thing. And before we let you go, do you need volunteer help?
We do for our events. It's not something that we need throughout the year, but yes, when we have our event in May, our 5K, our gala in October, and there's some smaller ones per year that we do need help for. And you can, go to our website again, livelikejake.com, and contact us that way.
Well, we want to encourage everyone who is listening to South Florida Sunday right now to support all the great work that you're doing there at Live Like Jake by attending the events. I'm sure you're always more than happy to accept financial donations. And if you feel so inclined, we encourage you to also participate by volunteering to help with all the events that they have coming up throughout the remainder of the year. Want to thank you for being our guest here on South Florida Sunday, and thank you for all the work that you are doing to help keep our young children safe here in South Florida and around the country. And we just want to pass along our condolences and tell you how sorry we are to hear of your great loss and how nice it is to see that you've turned such a tragedy into something very positive.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
If you have loved ones that rely on your income, you need life insurance. But finding the best quote shouldn't take a lifetime. With Policy Genius, you could save 50% or more by comparing quotes from America's top insurers. First, head to PolicyGenius.com. In minutes, Policy Genius will compare prices starting at as little as $1 a day. You might even be eligible to fast-track your coverage with a no-exam policy. Once you apply, the Policy Genius team handles all the paperwork, and red tape. If you have any questions, their team of licensed independent experts is on hand to help. In fact, Policy Genius's award-winning service has a 5-star rating across thousands of reviews on Trustpilot and Google. Make today the day you cross life insurance off your list and get protection for your loved ones. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes. To get covered, head to policygenius.com today.